I realized this channel in particular is a content farm. And it was this very viral short, above 50 million views. So I was like, ooh, let me watch this. And I ended up being appalled. The reason that I had beef with them at all because of this is because they uploaded another video of animal abuse. Proper greetings to all the party peoples out there in the internet. For those who do not know me, my name's Noah. I'm a first responder in Canada Search and Rescue, have been for about 2.5 years now. Back home, I own 2 rescues. The younger of whom I train, her name is Coco, and she is a Border Collie, Australian Heeler mix. She's very fun to work with. But I am not at home right now. As a matter of fact, I am babysitting the 4 golden retrievers. 2 of them are in the room. The 2 adults are with me. I'm gonna try to get them to say hi. See if they listen. Hey, Charlie, come here. Hey, say hi, Charlie. Hey, hey. I got one of them. There's Charlie. Gunner is being a little bit more camera shy. That's all right. Oh, there he is. Hey there, boy. I'm making sure they're being well taken care of. But while you will oftentimes see wholesome content created from people who do take really good care of their animals, sometimes things are not as it seems, and it is done more for the likes, the clicks, and the sensationalism. That's when things start to become a huge problem. So before I get into today's video, for those who might be triggered by what I'm talking about, y'all might have a little hint of what I'm getting at, but I want to be straightforward. I am talking about animal abuse. So I figured y'all would appreciate a fair heads up there. So now that I have dotted the I's and crossed the T's, let's get into today's topic, and to start us off, I'll throw us back to a short I made a year ago. What did I just watch? That was not okay. And this is where I draw the line. Like throwing a firecracker on purpose to watch your dog's paws get burnt. This stuff shouldn't be encouraged on YouTube. I mean that as a dog trainer. So, unfortunately, this is not the first time that content related to stunts involving dogs and firecrackers have been made. There are several of these videos on YouTube. And just in general, animal abuse has been a big problem on YouTube, ranging from the obvious content like that you saw, all the way down to the so nitty-gritty. From the kids' content involving animals, where the animals are tortured to play their part, to fake rescues, to even YouTubers who hide behind an all is good mask, and behind the scenes they're doing bad stuff to their animal. There's just a lot to cover. So in particular today, what I wanted to do is hone it down to a specific channel. And this is why I started us off with the short. Because a specific channel in particular had uploaded that short, and I saw it and reacted to it. So let's get into the specific channel. The channel's name is Pedicure Daily Animals. And as you can see, it has 276,000 subscribers and 211 videos. So there's a lot of people watching their content. And while in their content, some of the comments have spoken out about some of the questionable practices in the videos they upload. I have not found a video touching on this, and as a canine search and rescue first responder, I feel it necessary to touch on the content they're making because it involves a lot of dangerous ideas, some misrepresentation of how dogs are trained, and sometimes just outright abuse. And it's not okay, and it needs to be brought forth in more than just comments. Because from what I've seen, because I've interacted with this channel for over a year now, ever since I made that short. From what I've seen, there has been some red flags in the way the channel has been dealing with the content, and the channel has kept on uploading this content up to YouTube, trying to make viral videos off of very, very questionable things involving dogs and cats usually. So I want to introduce you to the gist of their content and the categories I divide the content into usually. So, how I was introduced to the content, I was watching some good old videos from people who take really good care of their dogs. They're dog trainers. They give a lot of advice to people on how to properly maintain your dog, what to do if you wanted to go into different lines of work with your dog. Just very great channels, right? I stumbled upon a short under the channel because you know how YouTube will recommend you some shorts under the videos sometimes. That's where I saw my first short from Pedicure Daily Animals, and it was this very viral short, above 50 million views from what I remember, involving a dog being trained on resource aggression. So I was like, ooh, let me watch this. And I ended up being appalled by some of the things in that video. So I went into the channel and started watching more of their content, meaning they do not upload original videos. Often you'll see in the training videos and in the grooming videos and all the videos they post, it comes from many different people, many different sources. And this channel just edits the videos to make it flashy or very short, adds in some music or something like that. Something to make it flashy and up the dopamine or the shock value. And they post it on their channel to try to make it viral and to get some monetization. So already that's kind of, that is kind of questionable. But then we get into the content they post in the categories. And I divide the content up into 3 categories. The grooming category, what I know them for because of their name. The training category, and those 2 are the biggest categories, and then there's the randoms category. So without further ado, what I'm going to do is touch on each category, and I'm going to start at the grooming category, which is the least questionable category. And when I'm done touching on this category, you'll be like, really, Noah? This is the least questionable? Just wait until the end of the video because, man, have things taken a wild turn on that channel when I looked at their stuff. So, their grooming content often involves aggressive animals because they're trying to make viral videos. They want something with a lot of shock factor in it. And the groomers who are grooming these aggressive animals have been sort of unprofessional with the way they've done things. So, what you just saw comes from a channel named Snoot Spa. It used to be an old channel, but it rebranded and made new videos and did away with the old ones. the old videos from the old channel are still up on Pedicure Daily Animals. And it involves some very unprofessional stuff, like pinning a husky to a wall with the end of a rolling stool and things like that. Since then, they've cleaned up their act a little bit, but some of their stuff still raises red flags, like lack of hygiene practice, not putting on gloves, not putting on masks, sometimes when they need to, and just throwing away like the dirty paper they sometimes use, or the dirty cloth they sometimes use to clean the dogs with. But what's even more questionable is the way they deal with the animal's aggression. So on Pedicure Daily Animals and on the new channel that they have, a lot of times they will mock the animal's aggression for views. Like, they'll do things like, they'll just make videos of them chasing around the animal getting all angry at them spinning around the animal on the floor sometimes. The cat's just stressed out. And, a lot of people in the comments have said, maybe you need to tranquilize the animals if they're that stressed out. And it becomes a stressful experience for both the groomer and the animal. They have improved on a lot of things. I'll give them that credit. But one thing that still is prominent is a lot of a lack of hygiene practice and just a lack of tools professionalism with the animal. I think I only saw one video where there was actually a muzzle on a dog. They did start wrapping the cats up in blankets, which is at least a huge improvement from what they used to do. That was uploaded on Pedicure Daily Animals. Pedicure Daily Animals contains some of the more rough stuff from their early days. So, that is just the beginning. Aren't you excited? Now, we're moving on to the training content. And this is where things start to become really bad. So, I'm gonna have you watch this video right here.
No. Huh?
So, one thing that is popular on Pedicure Daily Animals is aversive dog training. So, oftentimes, you'll see in the videos Pedicure Daily Animals uploads, you'll see people provoking the aggression out of animals and then trying to dominate the animal. Basically, show them who's boss, show them who's alpha. And that's the training method they use. And sometimes there are big dogs in play, like Malamutes, Huskies, and the force is a bit more justified than in other videos like this one you just watched. In the video we just watched, we saw a small dog breed, I think a Shiba Inu, who was, resource defensive, resource aggressive. And so the trainer was trying to get that out of the dog using this method, right? And so there's a couple things that went wrong. Number one, you notice the lack of tools. Oftentimes, if you want to provoke the aggression out of the dogs in order to train them, there would be a stick that sometimes people use to extend above their food bowl or whatever. In that video, the man stuck his arm out of the food bowl, as the dog is snarling. And not only that, he backhands the dog in the face Talk about asking for it. And then later on in the video is the most disturbing part. And the dog is screaming. And when it finally stops screaming, you can see its tongue is turning purple. And the guy literally put so much pressure on the center of that dog that the dog literally pooped in the video. You could really tell that there was a dangerous amount of force being put on that dog. The dog was about choked out, okay? And while most of the comments in that video that got like 15 million views spoke of outrage and, you know, called out a lot of the abusive practices, some of the comments, were defending the video in particular, saying, oh, that's just how we train the dogs. You're attacking our method. This is how we save lives. The man is doing his job. Okay. I understand the intention. I even understand the method. I'm not a big fan of it, okay? And like I said, there are some videos that are more justifiable. But here's the issue I see. There is a lack of variety in the method. Because as a search and rescue trainer, guess what? When it comes to even different breeds of dogs, you will have to train them differently, depending. Different breeds take things different ways. A lot of experience have proved this. And especially since we're talking about the size of an animal and the force put on the animal, it gets dangerous. I mean, would you wrestle a Chihuahua the same way you would wrestle a Kangal Shepherd? Are you kidding me? And for those of you who are saying he's just doing his job, saving his life, I understand. But, here's what I see. I'll paint a picture for you. If you're trying to keep a critical patient awake, let's say you're EMS, you're trying to keep a critical patient awake, are you going to throw a hot spud at them in their face in order to get them to stay awake? Or would that be a bad idea? I mean, you're saving lives after all. You're doing your job. Do you see the point? We need to examine this kind of content very, very critically. Because, the misrepresentation is definitely affecting some people in the comments. And it's dangerous. You could really hurt a dog that way. Or do worse. So that's the training category. That is just a preview of what the next category I'll get into. That is the randoms. The randoms are where I have my biggest beef with the channel and where I've interacted the most with the channel over the last year, ever since I made that short. So sometimes in the randoms, they'll post harmless videos. Like, for example, they'll post, lions chasing zebras or something like that with a whole bunch of sound effects added in. I mean, it's cheesy, not my cup of tea, but hey, I'm not judging. But there's content like the video I reacted to, the firecracker video. And I wanted to see how the channel would handle it after I uploaded my short calling the video out for its harmfulness. And it looks like they did see that video, because the next time I checked on Pedicure Daily Animals, months later, they had deleted that video. But then it started looking like things were kind of swept under the rug. Because, they had a video to answer to, my video, about this kind of content that they were endorsing from these original creators. And, you know, I would have appreciated it, you know, if at least a post was made like, hey, we recognize there was this video that was uploaded on our channel that has some, you know, dog abuse in it, like people literally throwing firecrackers at the dog, and, you know, we don't endorse that kind of content here. We're taking the video down. That is respectable. But since it was more underground, because the randoms category is more underground, they figured, why bother? You know, even with the other comments speaking out against it. The reason that I had beef with them at all because of this is because they uploaded another video of animal abuse after that. Take a look. My, man. So, they decided to get hamsters involved in this one. And you can clearly tell there's distress on the hamster's face. That was when I really started noticing some red flags. Because, you know, you would figure after I had made that video that they would be careful not to post any more videos of animal abuse and that kind of stuff. But they kept going. And not only did they keep going, but some really sketchy things happened. And this is where things start to get into a little bit of a speculative territory. So, Pedicure Daily Animals, you get to reach out here and say what your intentions were and what actually happened. Because right after I screen recorded that video of the hamster to kind of touch on it and kind of call out the channel for doing this, the next thing that happened was I could not access the channel in YouTube nor through one of the browsers, and I troubleshooted for months. And through these months, I saw the subscriber count grow from 274 to 276,000. So I knew the channel was still climbing. It wasn't like the channel was like suspended. The channel was still available. And I had gone deep in research about what actually happened. And it boiled down to two things. Either the link is bad, or there is some kind of more personal blocking going on. I'm hoping it's not the second option. Because, you know, even checking if our region was blocked from this channel, a lot of people from the US still watch Pedicure Daily Animals. Like some of y'all, the viewers, may have access to this channel. I don't, for some reason. And this combined with the shady behavior of Pedicure Daily Animals related to a lot of their content made me want to speak out a bit more. You know, that's where we get into it's becoming more about the clicks and the views than it is about the welfare of the animal. Yeah, it breaks my heart, man. I really, really wish this wasn't a thing I needed to touch on. But, you know, despite all the chances I've given over a year of interacting with them, you know, they have continued in this pattern of uploading dangerous content. And because I don't want our next generation, specifically, who's like very internet inclined, getting indoctrinated by these videos, you know I'm going to touch on it in my channel and hold the holders accountable. And here's the thing that is really, really, really messed up about it, okay, Pedicure Daily Animals, if you're hearing me out, this is what's really messed up. Channels like yours are shields for the original content creators. People are more focused on this channel is making these videos viral. Anything that has outrage, we're going to come after. And that way, many of the underground creators can stay underground, and more channels can keep being created, feeding off of these original creators. Because not a whole lot has been done to go underground. And there are ways where you can take a video and you could find the original content creator. I'll show you when I edit. But I would encourage that. We need to, first and foremost, get the underground out of the way. And you can go really deep. One fake rescue channel that's big will have like 7 other channels behind it. In fact, they're, videos that really go down into the underground when it comes to dog abuse have exposed that. So that's something that needs to start happening if we want to avoid this cycle, this repetition, So that's a wrap of all I needed to talk about today. My work is done for now. This is a video I did not enjoy making, but I really felt it necessary. Because this needs to come out. The truth needs to be voiced out for everyone to hear. And if you stuck around to the end, give me a fist bump virtually. You're awesome. I hope you two have, watched this video for what it is, even if you didn't enjoy hearing about some of the things. I'm sorry. So, yeah, until next time, everyone.